Hey, folks, welcome back. I'm Jon Najarian. He is CJ Reichel, and he is Matt Montemayor. And we are here for the Daily Crypto Byte and looking forward to their picks for their doges of the day and my doge of the day, as well as just kind of talking about some of the crypto news of the day. And one of the big things, I'll let you take that one to start, Matt, is that Bitcoin screaming back, threatening all-time highs yet again.
Yeah, great start to the morning. We're having a really great week. And I just want to go back to kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of this week. And that was how Bitcoin had some pretty strong support below, but not much resistance above. And that's holding true here. We're rallying right on up to this level of 58K. And that's where I'm going to start thinking about potentially taking profits, taking some money off the table, because 58K is strong resistance, being the all-time high. It's also got this setup resistance from the TD sequential 9. So I'm watching this level closely. We're approaching it, but there's no reason why we can't smash right through. So I expect there to be a strong battle between the bulls and the bears right here at 58K. And I really expect this to kind of be a crossroads for Bitcoin and kind of dictating the momentum of the weekend. So great week for Bitcoin so far. We're approaching this critical level, so I'll be watching that very closely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one, especially when it comes to those resistance levels, as well as support around 45K, Monty. But the thing that I really like about this run up and how it's different from the first time when we went to 57 and 58K is that we're doing it now without a record amount of futures and options open interest on Bitcoin. And so, at the tail end of some of those market increases, I feel like you have a lot of short-term speculators in those options and futures markets who kind of want to take advantage of the later stage scalp trade. But since we're not seeing that volume, we're kind of making this move much more authentically from true buyers coming into the market. So a lot more sustainable momentum. I still do expect to create, another higher low, but it's looking pretty good.
I thought that it was interesting, guys, that we'll have to see exactly what the new SEC chair decides to do with an ETF, an exchange traded fund, an exchange traded note, an ETN, whatever, for Bitcoin and or other cryptocurrencies. Obviously, there are some that are approved across our borders, but not within the US. And JP Morgan is doing something that's really similar to something that you and I have discussed, guys. They are creating a basket of companies with exposure to crypto. And you guys, regular viewers of this show and listening to us, know what we're talking about. It is Square, it is PayPal, it is MicroStrategy, it is Silvergate, it is Signature Bank. I mean, there are a number of companies that really are tied to how well Bitcoin is doing. There's Voyager, sponsor of this program, that are publicly traded companies. Voyager, of course, as we've said before, is a Canadian-based company. So they have to deal with those regulators, except in New York State, where people email me every day, CJ and Matt, and I'm sure they do you guys too, asking when are you going to be eligible in New York? Because they need a BIT license for New York specifically to be able to offer. Now, somebody in New York with a VPN could easily jump on Voyager. I'm not telling them to do that. I'm just saying I know people that do that. But if you're playing by the rules and not trading on the, in the gray areas at all, you can't if you're in New York, and it's one of the largest populous centers in the US. So that's going to be a big driver. When people asked me that yesterday, guys, I said, I think Voyager doubles from here when they get New York and a NASDAQ uplist. I don't think it has to take those two things for them to double, because the stock has doubled and doubled and doubled. But I think that from this level, I think it might take something like that to get another double on the table. But then again, we've got Coinbase coming with what looks to be $100 billion offering based on this private transaction that they did on the NASDAQ private transaction network. I think they got a price of 350 or something like that for a block that they were looking to someone was looking to sell. Based on that block trade, they think that 100 billion is in the cards for the IPO.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see those numbers.
That is just insanely impressive. I mean, I think you make a great point talking about Coinbase, because it really speaks to the fact that the space is still so novel and there's a lot of value to still be priced into these things. And I think we'll see kind of what happens with publicly traded companies like Voyager after Coinbase gets its final valuation. I expect Voyager to really kind of take off following Coinbase's IPO. So interesting time in the crypto space for sure. And CJ, you shared an interesting piece of news with us this morning, kind of a more negative piece of news, but still very important. You want to talk about what Twitter is doing with crypto accounts?
Yes, we have some news here reported by The Block. Twitter has suspended several accounts of crypto influencers. Some of the ones included are Willy Woo, Plan B, the Wall Street Bets chairman, that's at WSB chairman, the Moon Carl, the Crypto Dog. So if you follow any of these guys, you know they're quite entertaining to follow. But they're not scammers. You know, they're not guaranteeing returns by any means. This was done in an effort to clear the space from a lot of scammers that have migrated in now that we've reached all-time highs. And, you know, the public sees Bitcoin, they see the opportunity presented. And so when newer market participants come in, we get a lot of scammers who essentially crawl out of the woodwork. Just a reminder, Market Rebellion will never tell you, give us 1 Bitcoin and we'll send you 5 back. I mean, come on, guys, that's just not good business. It doesn't work for us long term. So be careful. But I mean, what do you guys think? Are there more broader implications of this ban? Because we've seen YouTube do similar things.
Yeah. As far as scams, I'm all for them taking folks off for scams. Like you say, these people in particular, and I think I follow everyone but Plan B, and I'm going to have to follow them now that their account has been restored, I guess. But Willy Woo, really? You're going to suspend Willy Woo or even the Crypto Dog? I've not seen anything resembling a scam coming from those guys. So I'm pretty surprised, CJ, that this is something that Twitter figured it had to do or wanted to do, whichever.
Yeah, it reminds me of what we were talking about, I think last week on one of these episodes, with YouTube kind of censoring all these crypto accounts kind of in a blanket manner. And yeah, like Willy Woo and Plan B, those are on-chain analysis guys. They're not shilling any particular project. So I think it's kind of just like Twitter just cast too wide of a net here, really. And I mean, I'm sure they cleared out lots of good scam accounts, but these are accounts that are important to the space. They're providing valuable information for free on Twitter. So yeah, I hope all these accounts get restored. I'm glad Willy Woo and Plan B already have, but yeah, it's concerning and maybe might push people to an alternative platform. We'll have to see.
You better be careful, John, now that you're on the Daily Crypto Byte each day.
Yeah.
Might come for you.
I better be careful. Lose my blue check mark. By the way, folks, when we said that Bitcoin was on a tear and up nearly 3%, it's just shy of 56,000, I think. That still puts it over $1 trillion again. So solidly over $1 trillion. And that's a pretty amazing thing when you've got people like Raoul Paul, who's a friend of the show and has been on with us on our roundtables and things. He says 100x from here for Bitcoin. He has been calling for 100x, $100 trillion. And you know, I know our friend Max Kaiser, also a friend of the show, is out there with a short-term target of 77,000 this year. And a long-term target, if we go into a super cycle this year, of 220, I think, guys. I think we could see 77 by the end of the year. I'm going to be really surprised if we see 77 fast, given how fast we got here to 56. I think they may have spent a lot of the upside coin just on all of these institutions getting involved. Publicly traded stocks. We talked about Me Too yesterday, talked about that Norwegian company. You guys know the story about Square and Tesla and MicroStrategy, of course, but I think that a lot of that is in the market right now. Now, if more significant treasuries start pouring in and buying Bitcoin, well, yeah, then I guess. But other than that, I don't know that 77 is something that I'd be betting on this quarter, like supposedly Max is betting on that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. I'm kind of inclined to agree with you, John, because like I pointed out earlier, we're hitting this important crossroads here. But one thing I think might be interesting this weekend is if Bitcoin does decline, what kind of happens with some of these altcoins? So how about we take this time to transition into our Doge of the Day segment? What do you guys say?
All right, let's do it. My Doge yesterday was Mana. It made a little bit of a move. It's made a real nice move over the last week. So when I look at the 7-day versus the 24-hour, it looks even better. But right now, I'm going to say let's go back to the well for Theta Fuel, TFUEL, Theta Fuel as my Doge of the day. How about you, Matt?
I like it. I like it. I'm going to just quickly follow up on my Doge of the day from yesterday, Stormax.
Okay.
So yeah, it performed very well, finally broke out of this sideways trading range. And I actually still like this as a Doge of the day. So I'm going to kind of double down here because what I'm seeing technically, I really like. So we got this wicked 9 doji candle that looked like it was set for reversal. When I saw this, I just kind of assumed that we were going to get some volatility incoming, not necessarily downside volatility. And we got it. And what's most important for me is that we set up above this TD sequential support. So now, although we haven't had too much price action, we're still set up nicely above this level. I like where it's at. I think it's postured well to run up to its all-time high and potentially break this level. So it was my pick yesterday, still my pick today. I still like it. Haven't taken any profits off the table. So that's what I got. CJ?
Yeah, I'm just going through a couple last minute adjustments here. Just want to check the sentiment scores have changed in the past hour. I talked about VeChain a little bit earlier in the week. I don't know if it'll be my number 1 pick for today, but I like where it's going. I like the sentiment long-term and short-term. Companies such as Walmart, the drug company Bayer, Sam's Club in China, they're all building on top of VeChain. So while it's trending now and might need to pull back to a support level, it doesn't appear that it's going anywhere anytime soon. So I like VeChain for that reason. But also, I talked about this one a little bit earlier. I really like the technical formation is Elron, EGLD. You can find that one on Voyager as well, by the way. But yeah, that one, I just really like the sentiment. I really like how it's consolidated and found support after its massive run up after the initial listing. And so, that one, CKB, a lot of these ones are in very similar technical formations currently. But at the end of the day, I think it really all comes back to Bitcoin and whether this run up to 60K can be sustained.
As far as short-term support, where would you put short-term support for BTC?
Yeah, that's tough to say after such a steep run up, but what I'm thinking is because we had somewhat strong resistance here at 54K, we kind of plateaued here. I think that this is setting up nicely to be resistance if we do bounce off this top formation. So 54K, if we do reverse, this will be a level where I would look to kind of re-enter and increase my stack.
All right. Well, make sure you check the guys out. Put that picture back up there.
Which one?
Of you guys with Alex. I think Alex is flying out to Aspen, so it'll be interesting if you guys do the trade the chain from out in Aspen this week. Because I think I thought he told me he's flying out there and he's going to have some meetings, but CJ and Matt are also every week folks on Trade the Chain. Have been doing it for nearly a year now, guys. Is it more than a year?
Yeah, I think it is coming up on a year. Yeah. Wow.
And Alex, our friend there, pointing over at Matt, is a great guy. He has merged his firm in with Quantrex, and Trade the Chain is a very entertaining show that these guys do weekly. So make sure you check that out. Remember, you can always try the crypto room. It's just $1 for the first month in the crypto room with Matt, CJ, and all of the thousands of folks that are in that room. If you decide to stick with it, hey, it's only $29 after that first month. So check it out at marketrebellion.com/try crypto, and make sure you subscribe so that you get the Daily Crypto Byte every day. You can subscribe over on YouTube just by going to YouTube and type Market Rebellion. You'll see it, and then you'll get it every day. With that, let's go trade, guys.
Let's do it. There's money to be made, people. So let's start trading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.